I'm Michelle Nurtition, a holistic nutritionist of Michelle Nurtition, and today we're going to have a super quick chat all about the digestive system and about probiotics. So we'll talk a little bit about how we can sort of promote optimal health for digestion, and we'll also talk about what types of foods and supplements you can use to boost the probiotics within your body. So first off, let's talk a little bit about the digestive system. So when we tend to think of the digestive system, a lot of us don't give as much importance as we might want to. So the digestive system is super important. So the digestive system is responsible for absorbing and assimilating all of those nutrients that we're eating. And when we're actually not having really good digestion, so we might have things like constipation or bloating, we're not actually able to absorb all the nutrients from our food. So we're not obviously going to feel our best. An interesting thing also about the digestive system is that not all problems that are related to the digestive system show up as digestive symptoms. So a lot of us tend to think that things like bloating and constipation and gas are related to digestion, which of course they are, but we tend not to realize that things like joint pain and chronic inflammation, things like skin issues can also be related to the digestive system. So this is why it's so important that we actually make sure that our digestive system is working as optimally as possible. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about how we can actually do that. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the microflora. So the microflora is essentially the ecosystem in our intestines. So we have both good bacteria, so we call those the probiotic-rich bacteria, and then we've got the pathogenic bacteria in our gut, and that's totally normal. What we want to do is always make sure that we have many more probiotic-rich bacteria than the pathogenic bacteria in the gut. So we want to make sure we're constantly feeding those populations and eating different foods and potentially taking different supplements so that we always got a good amount of probiotics in our gut. So why would we want to think more about this? Why would we want to take more probiotics? Why would we want to eat more probiotics? Well, I'm going to give you 3 quick reasons. So the first is that when we take probiotics, or when we have a lot of probiotics, or our ecosystem is rich in healthy probiotics, the pH balance is affected. And what that means is that it actually protects the body. So it's related to your immune system, and things like bacteria like H. pylori or E. coli are actually less likely to affect us. So think about travel. Think about eating a lot of probiotic-rich bacteria, and then it's less likely that we're going to get those kind of illnesses when we're traveling or even at home as well. The second thing is that probiotics are actually rich in enzymes. So they actually help us to digest our food. So they help us to make certain vitamins, but also to extract those key nutrients from our food. So we're going to actually eat the food and get the benefit of the food. The third reason why we really want to focus on probiotics is because they can help to actually heal the lining of the digestive tract. So interestingly, the lining of the digestive tract is very important. And when we get these little holes that are kind of between the cells that are lining the digestive tract, which is caused by things like eating too much sugar, too much processed food, potentially taking too much antibiotics when they might not be necessary, or too much different prescription drugs, alcohol, things like that, then we actually cause a lot of inflammation in the lining of the gut. And what happens is these tiny little holes are formed, and little pathogenic pieces of bacteria, sometimes pieces of food, different microbes, actually get through the lining of the digestive tract into the body system, and then our body responds with an inflammatory response, and that's sort of where the chronic inflammation comes along. A lot of times we actually see that show up as things like skin issues, things like joint pain, and all sorts of different things like autoimmune conditions. So when we take probiotics and we eat very probiotic rich foods, and we do that on a daily basis, we begin to heal the lining of the digestive tract, and we prevent that from happening. So again, just to recap, having a healthy gut is really important for the rest of our body. So I'm going to talk you through we just got a couple of different probiotic-rich foods here to talk about today. I'll tell you kind of what each of them are and how you can use them. And there's actually a ton of probiotic-rich foods out there, so we've just got a small amount here. And then I'll give a brief update on why you might want to think about taking a supplement. So the first example I have here is something like sauerkraut. So sauerkraut is actually fermented cabbage. And in this case, we've got also fermented beets. So these are very probiotic rich, and you can eat them things like on a salad. You could eat them on the side of eggs, things like grain bowls, something with rice. Just top them. They're very, very flavorful, and they're so good for your gut. So you can eat something like this every day. Also kimchi, so this is very, very similar in the way that you could use it. And again, it's cabbage. It's very, very flavorful, and you can also use it in things like salads and grain bowls, things like that. Miso, so fermented soy is another great option. So something like organic miso, you can make a soup out of. You can kind of marinate different types of meat, or tempeh, another fermented soy product that's rich in probiotics. And then of course, yogurt. You guys have all probably heard about yogurt before. This is the question that I get asked a lot about. Is eating yogurt enough? Is that enough probiotics? And the truth is that most of us aren't eating enough of these types of foods in order to get the amount of probiotics that we actually need in the body. So it's good to consider a supplement, even if you are consuming some of these products. Now this doesn't look like much, but it's actually a homemade kombucha. So what kombucha is fermented tea. What it is it's a tea that's undergone a fermentation process with a bacterial culture, very, very rich in probiotics as well, and really, really tasty. So it's a great alternative to something like pop. So if you're used to drinking a lot of pop or sort of fizzy drinks, kombucha is my #1 go-to replacement drink that I always tell my clients to give a try. And it's often flavored with lots of different yummy flavors. And then last but not least, sort of above and beyond these amazing foods that we want to be consuming a lot, there is the need to take a probiotic for most of us. So there's different types of probiotics here by New Life, and the one here is the acute probiotic. So this is actually 25 billion, and it's a multi-strain probiotic. So what that means is that there's actually 6 probiotic strains included in here. So different strains of probiotics actually have different impacts on the body. So it's really important that we're feeding multiple different, the different ecosystems and the different types of bacteria in the body. So we want to make sure that when we're taking a probiotic that it is multi-strain, and that it actually contains enough probiotics that are actually going to have a benefit on us. So in this case, this one is the acute probiotic, and it's got 25 billion active cultures. So this would be for somebody that actually experiences a lot of those inflammatory symptoms or has a lot of those digestive symptoms. And this other one here, this one is the daily probiotic. So you can tell this one's got 10 billion active cultures, whereas this one over here we saw has 25. This one is more of sort of a daily, I guess we would call it a maintenance dosage. So again, it's also got the 6 probiotic rich strains, and really, really great to just help to kind of maintain that really great intestinal health. So that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. I'm more than happy to answer any questions down below. And also, if you know somebody that might be struggling with some digestive symptoms, or maybe this would help them, just share it with them. Have a great day, guys.